This is me 10 years ago in my grandpa's 1989 Ford F-150. And 10 years later, this is what it looks like. And this is episode 1 of restoring my $0 F-150. This here is my 1989 Ford F-150. My grandpa gave it to me before he passed away. It's an inline-6, 4.9 liter, 4-speed manual transmission. And before the end of this series, it's going to be road legal. By now, you're probably wondering, why am I fixing up this rust bucket? It's covered in dents and it's old. It's because the last thing my grandpa said before he died was, "I love you." So here I am making videos about getting and running again. Now here's a song to give you the brief history of this truck.
Pulled it from the farm, box all bent, front bumper smashed, engine spin. Start a flywheel, clutch got it to fire, but it ran wild. Never in line, never tired. Fuel pump injectors, a regulator tried. Idle still, couldn't get it right. Parked it, came back, dead again. Nothing I did made it spin. Pull the box, check the relay, still no spark. Nothing to say, push the ground wire and the ECM. She roared to life, damn, I felt the jam.
It's nice knowing that this truck can run, but it's nowhere near roadworthy. After we finally got it running, it was only running on 4 cylinders, so we had to do a compression test. A compression test is how you test the compression in each individual cylinder. You remove the spark plug, attach a gauge to the cylinder hole, you turn over the engine, and the reading you get on the gauge is how much compression you have in that cylinder. The average gasoline engine gets between 125 and 175, and each cylinder should be within 10% of that. When I did the compression test on my truck, I got 50 PSI for the first 5 cylinders, and the 6th one was barely bouncing off 0. That is like the worst that could have ever happened. Then I did a leak down test to see where I'm losing my compression. A leak down test is similar to a compression test. You attach a gauge to the cylinder and you put air into the cylinder, and if the air comes out of the oil cap, the intake, or the exhaust, it will tell you where your leak is. On my truck, it was leaking out of my oil cap, which tells me that it's either the piston rings or the cylinder walls that are worn out. The reason I know it's either the piston rings or the cylinder walls from the air coming out of the oil cap is because when the leak down test air goes into the cylinder, it leaks past the cylinder wall and goes out into the oil stream and comes out the oil cap. If the piston was sealed to the cylinder walls, there would be no leak and it would not get in the oil stream. Now for the moment you've all been waiting for. I'm gonna reveal what the truck looks like today. Pow! From chop to the top, this is what the truck looks like today. Okay, I guess I was lying. But one day the truck's gonna look like this, I promise you that. The reveal in 3, 2, 1. Okay, the truck was not as good as that edit, but just because it's hit a few trees, a few ditches, and been run to the ground, doesn't mean it doesn't have potential. So what are my plans with this truck? This is my last year of high school and I would really like to drive it to graduation. This is going to be a really hard goal to achieve. This truck has a lot of issues with it already, and it's probably going to have even more that I don't know about yet. With all that, I'm going to have to get it to pass inspection, and I want to be able to drive it without the worry of it breaking down. Currently, I have a shop that I'm able to work on it in for about an hour a day, but I only have access till January. After January, I'll still have access to tools at my house to work on the truck, but the jobs will definitely take longer. But what I know for certain is that I'm going to work my hardest on this truck until January, and when January comes around, Hopefully I'll have most of the work done and it will be simple tasks that I just have to figure out at home. Now that I know what's wrong with this truck, I only have a few options. My first and most inconvenient option is to tear down the engine and replace the piston rings. This is definitely the hardest job and risky because I don't know what's going to be under there and I could mess up the job. Option 2 is to try and clean off the piston rings through the spark plug holes. If I inject transmission fluid into each cylinder, there's a chance that it will clean off the rings and dissolve the carbon buildup on the pistons. If this works, it should increase my compression. If it does increase my compression, I'll keep injecting transmission fluid into the cylinder until the compression reaches a normal number. This might work for the first 5 cylinders, but I think it's doubtful for the 6th. If this ends up working, I should be uploading a video about this next week. I appreciate any feedback you have in the comments how to make these videos better, and I'll see you guys next time.
Stay greasy.